Why do intuitive empathic people often attract toxic relationships? This is a very common thing I see with intuitive empaths struggling to try and figure out what the problem is, often putting too much responsibility on themselves and abandoning themselves, creating not only toxic relationships, but it erodes away at our confidence, at our self-esteem, at our self-worth. So today we are going to talk about how to build better relationships as an intuitive, empathic person. And before I go any further, hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a fourth generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. If you're new here, hit subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. And we're going to get into it. I'm going to give you some grounded tools on how to start to use not only your intuition, but your spirit to create better relationships. So earlier this week, I was doing a phone reading with a client, and she was in a push and pull with a partner, and her partner continually self-abandons, continually leaves her holding the bag. She can't make decisions, can't figure things out. And my sweet client is like, I am so good at figuring out the problem. I know exactly what it is. And every time I try and help, I'm met with resistance. I'm met with a donkey kickback. It's so frustrating. And my own emotional padding is wearing thin. Now, first and foremost, when you're an intuitive, empathic person, one big thing that we can suffer from is tuning into the energy of other people around us instead of being centered in our own bodies as home number one. When you're an intuitive, empathic person and you don't have good boundaries with your energy, we often can feel shifts in energy that have us wondering, is this me? Is this them? Did I do something? Did I need to figure something out? And what often happens so often is we come up with a big story in our head. We come up with a story about what's going on and wonder if people are okay. Tool number one. If you are wondering if someone is okay, if you're wondering if somebody is mad at you, if you are wondering whatever it is, instead of going to your intellect that makes up different stories, ask directly to the person and then trust what they say. If you have a partner who you can just sense that they're feeling anxious, you can say, I am feeling this anxious energy right now. Are you okay? Feeling anxious? And if your partner, even if friend, family member, whomever says, no, it's good. Even if you can intuitively sense that that might not be true, it is not your job to excavate and to dig and find out. We have to trust people's word. When you say something, and this goes for ourselves as well, if you're struggling and overwhelmed, if things aren't feeling good, and somebody says, you cool, everything okay? And you say, no, everything's fine. And that's not true. Then what we have done is basically create a system of insecurity where we can't trust each other. And then it becomes like ping pong balls. Way back in the day, I remember when I was an old boyfriend, we both would do this where I'd be like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And back and forth where I would say, oh, I'm okay, because I didn't want to burden. And he would be like, oh, I'm okay. That then created this vicious cycle where we were constantly anxious about how the other one was feeling instead of just being direct with the energy. We can say, and I'll say this even to my partner now, say, I feel your energy. I am an intuitive person. So I don't know if you don't want to talk about it, that's okay, but I want you to be aware. This is a loving reflection. It's not about digging. It's not about criticizing, but when you can name it, like, this is something that I feel. Now, I'm not going to go to the story in my head and say this is true. Instead, ask, give them a chance to talk, but trust what it is that they say. This is another big thing, intuitive, empathic people, where we get choked off. And this is where we get choked off from our intuition, is right here in our throat. Your intuition is the voice of your spirit, and it's directly connected to your body. And it speaks to you in so many ways, but it will speak to you in subtle signs, symbols, different ways that we feel in our physicality. Now, we're picking up on a vibe. We're picking up on something. We can feel it in our body. I'm like, ooh, something off. For example, if my partner's feeling anxious, I can feel it in my anxiety in my body, right? And we can feel it. And then we have to speak it out here. Be direct. Because if we don't speak it out, we don't start to speak out these vibes, what will happen is we end up in our head. Our little ego intellect wants to try and make sense. And how it does that is through stories, and stories that repeat. They can often pull from the past, project in the future, and 99.999% of the time, they are wrong. They are completely wrong and make it a lot more work. So instead, when we start to speak things up, be direct, be concise. I am feeling a shift in energy. I'm feeling some anxiety. I want to check in. Are you okay? Boom. This right there. That is where we feel the vibe, speak it out, using this trim, like keeping our throat chakra clear. So and you can even just do an inventory in your life. Are there people in your life where you feel like you have to dance around the subject? Maybe instead of telling them directly that something is working or not working, you make up a story about another friend so that they could deduce that it's the same. This is exhausting. And this is a way that empathic, intuitive people often try and take care of other people's feelings. Because we're really sensitive, we know what it's like to be an emotional overwhelm, and we try and take care of the people around us by buffering them from discomfort. But discomfort and big feelings are okay. They are natural. We can manage. It's not our responsibility to put padding around the people that we love. Because in true life, when you put all of that extra padding, it's like, let's say you're disappointed by a girlfriend because they blew you off for dinner, made plans last minute, they canceled. And you're upset. Right? As an intuitive empath, you might be like, I'm going to maybe assume all these different stories. Maybe she's not that interested, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? I mean, there can be a lot of them. And then second, instead, you pick up the phone or get the text and you're like, I'm feeling disappointed and I feel like I can't count on you. And that makes me feel sad. Instead of just saying that, we can often say, everything's okay. Or also maybe we pick up the phone and what we do is and I know I have to learn to do this. It's like putting the pill, right? Like a pill. If you ever had a dog, you put it in cheese and then you put so much cheese that you don't even taste the pill. That's what happens when we're not direct. So instead of saying, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal, but I just want to say that sometimes it's just important, too much talking. We can be direct and say, hey, look, I love you. And it's important to me that you honor our commitments and made me feel sad that you bailed. Now, they might react. They might be upset. They might be sad. They might feel bad. That's okay. It's not our job to manage other people's emotions. When you do that, when you put the padding around your friend, you take the padding off of yourself. We give it, and it can be from a place of what we consider care. But true care and true love is also trusting the people in our life to communicate honestly and directly with them, and knowing that they can manage their emotions. Even if they aren't that great at managing their emotions, you yourself, that's not your job. You can just say, this is how I feel. It's okay that you're upset. I don't have to make it okay. Sometimes, when we get feedback, I remember years ago with a friend of mine who gave me direct feedback for myself of just where I was falling short for her and being a friend. And I felt sad and I felt bad. And those were good things. I wasn't a bad person. It was just those emotions signal to me that this is something that is important. And that those emotions, even though they might be uncomfortable, they're not bad. They're informing me of my values. So recognize that when you share and somebody has an uncomfortable or a big reaction to them, that it often is a place of what they care about. It might also be a place of their own insecurity. It might be a lot of different things. We don't need to guess, but that in being honest and direct, that we set people up for success. It's loving to be honest. It's loving to be direct, because when we don't do that, what we do is you stuff it and it's fine until all of a sudden you are resentful and mad and angry and feel overgiven and overdone. And it's not the vibe. So I will first say, so these are just a few tools. So first, right, be clear. If somebody asks, if you feel a vibe shift, and ask directly instead of guessing. Second, acknowledge the vibe out loud. Ask it as a question. This is something that I'm feeling. Is that true? Is that true? Third, trust what they say, even if the energy is discordant, to prevent yourself from overworking. Something that I will say is often, if I can feel that, I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily true, or maybe not true. I don't know if that doesn't resonate for me. So, but if you don't want to talk about it, or if later you want to talk about it, know that my door is open because I care. So sometimes people can be in overwhelm. You can leave a door open without having to be like, well, are you sure? Because of this and because of that. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Same for you. If somebody asks you if you are okay, ask about your experience, be honest. It takes courage, but be honest. And because in that same way, to build trust in relationships, we have to trust each other's word. And that means that we can start as a leader by being honest and modeling that in our relationships. The other tool that I've said very clearly, connect to your spirit and to your intuition. Be clear, be kind. Say, does this feel good? You can even just check in. Sometimes with relationships, a really easy test as an empath, intuitive person. Does it leave me feeling uplifted or drained? Is this a pattern? And then ask, is I'm feeling drained because I'm overgiving? Because I'm not being honest, right? Do our own self-checklist. And then just check with the person in front of you. And I also just say, in terms of relationships, they're complicated. People are figuring them out. Feelings are okay. They signal what we value and what's important to us. And it's not your responsibility to take care and manage everybody else's big feelings, because that is not our job. Our job is to be honest, open, loving, and using that empathic, compassionate superpower for others, and using that compassionate and care as much for ourselves first. Put that oxygen mask on, then help others. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. And if you want an intuitive reading, if you're looking about your soul purpose, have specific burning questions, head to my site, soniatully.com, and book a reading. If you're interested in intuitive mentoring, definitely head to my site and you can book a free 15-minute discovery call. Check out my family podcast. It's all related. We just got released on the Hay House app Empower. So I'm so excited for that. And, know that it's a cha-cha. It's learning. We're learning. And to be gentle and compassionate and be direct. I'm sending you all my love. Bye.